Okay, this next topic is a topic that myself and Rich can speak, volumes to, and I'm sure a lot of you out there can speak volumes to as well. And it's board diversity. There was a session that we did, a few, maybe even last year, that we talked about an example. I'm not sure if it was based on true circumstances, but we talked about an example where, I think it was based on an actual phenomenon that occurred, but the community that the nonprofit was serving was not represented anywhere in the organization or on the board of the organization. And in light of that, the one or two individuals in the community took notice of that and said, you know what, your mission is to serve us and our community and our constituents, but we don't see anybody that looks like us, that's maybe in our social economical class. We don't see anybody like that on your board or even in your nonprofit itself. And in years past, that was okay, but in today's marketplace, that's a problem and it's not a problem because the individuals who are on the board or in the nonprofit don't care and don't, have empathy and things of that nature. Are you serving us the best? Are you providing us with all of what you could provide us with if you knew us a little bit better? Now that also can be addressed with the board themselves coming out, getting involved with the community. Maybe, let's say you're serving an underserved housing. I'm going to call it like it was called when I was younger, housing project, right? Maybe one of the board members might move to the housing project just to know and understand the different issues that housing area deals with on a day-to-day basis, so that they're able to perform their function as a board even better and refine the services that are offered by the nonprofit. So I think board diversity, it gets really, really deep into the fabric of our marketplace, because nonprofits want to help. They want to help in the best way they can, but the question is, are they without diversity? So that's where I think we should start. Can a nonprofit serve in the best capacity void of diversity if the marketplace that they're serving is a community either diverse or of a background or makeup that's different from them?
I think in order for a board to be effective, you have to have different perspectives and different ways of thinking. So to me, board diversity is not just diversity in culture, race, that kind of thing. It's also diversity in skills, for example. So not only do you have to have diverse boards with respect to background, culture, that kind of thing, but you need different kinds of people.
Yeah.
You need somebody who knows financial stuff. You need to know somebody who knows marketing, social media stuff. So there's different aspects of diversity, but to me, the most effective boards are those where you get different perspectives from different kinds of people. And to me, I always said it wouldn't hurt to have on the board a representative from the population you're serving.
Yeah.
You can't really talk about the problems and issues people are having unless there's somebody there who knows firsthand what those problems are, right?
Yeah.
So some boards have advisory boards as a subcategory of the board of people that they are serving to get their perspective. I almost think it wouldn't hurt to get somebody actually on a board.
I know. That's it to me. Like having an advisory board, it still separates yourself from, because you still have the ultimate say so. We're the board, but if you're really going to take ownership of this thing and say, no, we want to serve you all better. Listen, no, one of you, two of you, whatever,
Yeah.
you're going to come up to the board. You're going to be one of the board
Yes.
members, you know, and
Yes.
that shows the public that, wow, they're really
Serious
taking
about it.
ownership
Yeah.
of this, you know.
Yes.
And because you're, and I understand, I understand why some of you out there might say, no, listen, we're not doing that, you know, because the communities that you serve, you know, they might not be the best, you know, at, you know, being cordial or having the formalities that you do. Let's be, for example, the there's a nonprofit that serves addicts, you know, taking care of the needles, making sure that they're not transmitting diseases to each other, you know, to one another, and but they're serving addicts to keep them healthy for their families and to wean them off of whatever drug use that they're on, which is, and it's a good mission. It's a good mission, but having one of the addicts who are struggling, you know, with this, but who are served by the nonprofit, on the board, I think would be invaluable, honestly.
I do too.
But you have to be willing to modify your expectations of what you feel might be the right way to communicate, or right way to engage each other, because it might be different. It might not be the same as, you know, I don't know, okay, you're calling the meeting to order. What's that, you know what I mean? Like you have to be aware that, you know, you have to train, you have to teach and educate on those things. But after that, I think you have a gem, you have a diamond, and you're able to, again, sharpen the pencil and serve that community a lot better, you know. But I think that's one of the challenges I think a lot of folks have. Like they're like, okay, can we want to do that, but there's a human element to that might be a little bit challenging.
Just got to get over that.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the most effective boards communicate with different perspectives in life and gather different information from the board members. And if you don't have somebody who really understands the underlying problem, then you're missing a big piece of information that would be really useful for the board. So I think the more different kinds of people you can get on the board, the better.
It goes back to something that when I first came here, and I'm so grateful. I'll never forget this. You and Wayne told me this, and I never forgot it. I never looked at things that way, but when you told me, and I don't think I was like that, but it made me cognizant of that. But you all told me, whenever you're trying to serve, and it wasn't in a nonprofit capacity, just whenever you're trying to serve a community that is not your community, you don't observe and explain to them what they need to do to be better. You go to that community, you understand, you ask, you let them teach you what it is that they need, and then you approach things from their perspective. I never forgot that. I thought it was invaluable, and I think if a lot of our nonprofits in the world, and I'm sure you all are doing fine, but some of us, I think if we had that mindset, I think we would serve a lot better, you know, as board members and as the nonprofits that us board members are leading. Because it's one thing to say, okay, we assess, and this has to be done, you know. But it's another thing to say, no, I'm gonna shut up and listen. I don't live in this community. I'm not part of this. I'm not aware of this. I didn't grow up like this. Let me just understand where you're coming from, what your needs are. And needs might not be what we think. It may not be, okay, we're gonna build a skyscraper. No, just listen, we just want access to this park on Saturday. Like it might not be what we think it is, but we didn't take time to listen, you know. So I think that was I'll never forget that lesson, you guys. So that was invaluable. But I think having that aspect and sense gives us an ability to be more than empathetic, You know, it actually, you know, we always say, hey, have you walked a mile or 2 miles in that person's shoes? It gives you the literal blueprint of this is how you do it. And then once you do it, you're not an expert now. You've just walked a mile in
Yeah,
shoes.
right.
You know what I mean? So,
Right.
yeah.
The other thing about diversity is people on the board have to be willing to listen to, not necessarily embrace opposing viewpoints, but they at least have to be willing to listen to it.
Listen to it.
You know, it's not like, hey, it's my way or no way at all. They have to listen to what other people are saying and not take it personally or whatever.
Yeah.
Because everybody on the board is after the same thing, the
Yeah.
success of the nonprofit.
Yeah.
So I've been to board meetings where there were contentious
Yeah.
communication.
Yeah.
They're always fighting about things.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to listen to what other people say,
Yeah.
because what they say might have some bearing on the
Yeah.
success of the organization.
Yeah.
So it's another trait of a board member, I think, is the willingness to listen to opposing or any kind of opinions, actually, and you know, just take out of that the positives.
Yeah. Because it goes back to selfishness and selflessness, right?
Yeah.
So if I am in it for my ego, my pride, this is what I feel, and I'm forgetting about, for us, it would be the students. I'm forgetting about the students, you know, or I'm forgetting about the constituents. I'm forgetting about the community. Like, who are we here for? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and if we can take ourselves out of the equation, and that actually puts us in a humble state.
Yep.
We're no longer, you know, in the God perspective, like, you know, what we say is we move this ship, you know, and this is what happens, and gold is magically created once we touch this floor, you know. It kind of takes us and diffuses us a bit, but it also allows us to hear in a state of humility. Because when you hear in a state of humility, you're able to hear, because it's like, I don't know if I'm right. Let me hear what you have to say. Let me hear what you have to say. Okay. And if all of us are like that, then we're going to come to not our conclusion, so we can get the praise, but we're going to come to the best conclusion, so the nonprofit can get the praise. So, but that's everybody has ego. You guys have ego. We have it. It's tough to do, but it takes, like I said, an intentionality about it to get it done. But I think that's a benefit of it. So, just to recap, I guess I can do that. Board diversity, this subject, we can just go on and on. I mean, we mentioned that, you know, we have a plethora of different ways and aspects of board can be diverse. They can be diverse in their skill set. They can be diverse in their ethnic background. They can be diverse in their social economical background. They can be diverse in just a number of things that challenges the uniformity. Let me say it like that, the uniformity of what a board is. You don't want, let me say it like this, you don't want, at least in America, because America, the whole America, just all of the stuff I just mentioned is all over America. You don't want to be in a place where you're preaching to the choir. It's a yes community. That's not the community, because you want a community that's a disruptive community, a community that challenges things, because with that challenge, it spurs growth. If it's a yes community where everybody's the same, everybody's uniform, you'll get stagnation, and people will exceed you by leaps and bounds, because they're staying fresh, they're staying clear, they're getting new ideas, they're challenging their ways, their methods, all of that is challenged by diversity, and I think that's the importance, again, of diversity in all aspects.